wanton violence alongside racist rhetoric. So no, I won't shy away from calling it what it is. I'm anti-Trump. I would like to send my warmest congratulations to President Trump.
And why do we trust them? Of course we shouldn't trust the people in charge. That's how they're in charge. They shouldn't be trusted.
I want to see Trump again because you need someone with BOs, declared Ricky Gervais in a scathing attack on Keir Starmer's leadership. After Trump publicly rejected Starmer's plea for tariff exemptions, the comedian didn't hold back. But this isn't just about tariffs. It's about a prime minister facing a double humiliation on the world stage. First from the next potential US president, then from one of Britain's most outspoken celebrities. The question now: can Starmer's carefully crafted image survive this international embarrassment?
Of specialist officers, public duty officers, so that we'll have enough officers to deal with this where we need them.
Donald came out and went, oh, f*** me, nasty train crash, right?
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. The rejection from Donald Trump wasn't just a simple no to Keir Starmer. It was a calculated power move delivered with maximum public impact. Trump's dismissal of the UK Prime Minister's tariff exemption request came with a clear message. Decisions we take in coming days and weeks will be guided only by our national interest. No diplomatic niceties, no room for negotiation, just a blunt rejection that left Starmer exposed on the international stage. What's particularly striking about this encounter is how unprepared Starmer seemed for Trump's businesslike approach to international relations.
It is organised, violent thuggery, and it has no place on our streets or online.
I think I've been naive all my life. It's not till now I just go, why do we trust them? Of course we shouldn't trust the people in charge. That's how they're in charge. They shouldn't be trusted.
While Starmer arrived with traditional diplomatic overtures, Trump approached the exchange like a hardened CEO, identifying leverage points and exploiting weaknesses. The UK leader walked straight into a trap that more politically savvy operators might have seen coming from miles away. The timing couldn't have been worse for Starmer. Already struggling to connect with voters at home, this international embarrassment highlighted the growing perception that he lacks both the instinct and backbone needed for high-stakes negotiations. Trump, ever the showman, understood that publicly rejecting Starmer's request would yield far more leverage than a private dismissal. It transformed what could have been a routine diplomatic exchange into a spectacle that signaled to other world leaders how Trump plans to conduct business in his second term. Behind Trump's swift rejection lies a deeper strategic calculation. The proposed 10% tariff on all UK imports represents a significant economic threat, one that would ripple through British businesses and potentially increase prices for consumers. By dangling this economic sword over the UK, Trump created immediate pressure on Starmer to make concessions in other areas. This isn't just diplomacy, it's business negotiations scaled up to international proportions.
Of course, I wouldn't want Donald Trump round for dinner, but don't underestimate the danger to the world if Trump is re-elected this time around. Coordinated, we went through some of the numbers. Over 400 people now have been arrested, 100 have been charged, some in relation to online activity.
Trump's approach reveals a fundamental clash of styles. Starmer, trained as a lawyer, approaches international relations through the lens of procedure, precedent, and mutual agreement. Trump, the businessman turned politician, views these same interactions as zero-sum deals where there must be a clear winner. When these two worldviews collide, the more aggressive stance often dominates the narrative. Exactly what happened in this case. What transformed this diplomatic stumble into a cultural referendum on Starmer's leadership was the unexpected intervention from Ricky Gervais. The comedian didn't just pile on. He articulated what many disillusioned voters were already thinking, but political commentators were too cautious to say outright. Gervais' criticism cut deeper precisely because it came from outside the political establishment, making it seem more authentic and resonant. Gervais' commentary went straight to the heart of what many perceive as Starmer's fundamental weakness.
We're all in it together. The people who hurt your family finances swanning around in the House of Lords after giving tax cuts to the richest 1% that crashed our economy. Don't forget any of it.
When are we going to stop taking went to Eton as a qualification to run the country? I mean,
An unwillingness to speak difficult truths and a tendency to prioritise appearance over substance. When Gervais suggested that what people want is to find some common ground, he wasn't just making an observation, he was highlighting the growing disconnect between political leadership and public sentiment. His intervention transformed Trump's rejection from a mere diplomatic setback into a broader indictment of Starmer's leadership style. The comedian's words resonated so powerfully because they tapped into a wellspring of frustration among voters who feel unheard and unrepresented. Gervais effectively became a proxy voice for citizens tired of political maneuvering and empty rhetoric. His unfiltered criticism provided emotional catharsis for those who feel political elites are increasingly detached from the everyday struggles of ordinary people. This one-two punch of Trump's rejection, followed by Gervais' criticism, exposes the fragility of Starmer's carefully constructed political image. For years, he has positioned himself as a serious, competent alternative to the more chaotic aspects of British politics.
I'm anti-Trump. I would like to send my warmest congratulations to President Trump. Whatever the apparent motivation, this is not protest. It is pure violence, and we will not tolerate attacks on mosques or our Muslim communities.
But this incident suggests that perhaps seriousness and competence aren't enough when they're not accompanied by the conviction and courage needed to stand firm on the world stage. The fallout from this episode extends beyond just embarrassment. For Starmer, it represents a potential unraveling of his leadership narrative at precisely the moment when he needs to project strength and conviction. The public humiliation by Trump, amplified by Gervais' cultural megaphone, creates a perception problem that could undermine Starmer's authority both internationally and domestically. Trump's rejection wasn't merely about tariffs. It was a calculated move to gain immediate leverage while sending a message about how he intends to conduct international relations in his second term.
So I have to be nice, right? Yeah. But I actually think he's very nice. I think he ran a great race. He did very well.
Building to this for 4 years. We're confident we have a plan that can move our country forward, end the cost of living crisis.
By framing the rejection around national interest, Trump established that sentiment as the benchmark against which all future negotiations will be measured. Starmer, caught unprepared for this approach, now faces the difficult task of regrouping while under intense scrutiny. As the dust settles on this extraordinary political saga, Starmer finds himself at a crossroads. His carefully manicured image, the foundation of his political identity, is now crumbling under the weight of high-profile criticism. What's truly damaging isn't just the international embarrassment, but the confirmation of what many voters already suspected. Starmer simply doesn't connect with ordinary citizens struggling through Britain's cost of living crisis.
Congratulations to President Trump on his inauguration as the 47th President of the United States. Wanton violence alongside racist rhetoric. So no, I won't shy away from calling it what it is. Far-right thuggery.
The public isn't merely frustrated, they're angry. They crave a leader who genuinely understands their daily battles, not one who appears detached and overly cautious. Starmer's calm, controlled approach, while potentially effective in traditional political arenas, has failed to resonate with citizens who need authentic leadership.